everybody. Are we good to go? Hi, thank you for coming to celebrate with me. Okay, so, hi to the people online. So because of my last minute behavior, I try to make sure that my friends and family who aren't here can join me online. And if you see me looking at this paper, just know it's for your safety. Because if I don't look at this paper, I might ramble and ramble. So I think I have my talking points here. It's a 1-hour sermon. Prepare yourselves. After that, we party. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. Our God is greater. Our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God is greater. Our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God. And if our God is for us, and if our God is for us, then who can ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? What can stand against? Our God is greater. Our God is stronger. Lord, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God. Ibiene Fred Oswald. Born on Monday, the 26th of July, 1982, to a 22-year-old and a 27-year-old. In fact, my mom had just turned 22 a month before I was born, so a 21-year-old, roughly. So I figure if we're going to talk about the journey so far, then we might as well start at the very beginning. In a time where the whole pro-life, pro-choice debate is very, very loud, I'm glad my mother chose to keep me going. I'm sure I wasn't a convenient choice, so thanks, Mom. Guys, I'm overwhelmed because I was not going to do anything for my birthday, but I'm so happy I did this. I wasn't born into a traditional setting. Nothing about my upbringing was traditional. I was born in the UK to two young people who, may or may not have been ready for me. Legend has it that I went to Nigeria on holiday, and I saw my cousins. I was having so much fun, and I just thought, why am I going back? And my mom's sister was like, yeah, why does she have to go back? And apparently that's how it happened. But I'm my mom's only child, and I was then, so I guess I must have been very excited. So I stayed home, and I lived with my aunt. And till today, when I say, oh, my sister, my brother, I'm talking about, my first cousins mostly. They're the ones I actually really call my sister and my brother. But it was good. You don't get to choose what you're born into. You don't get to choose the family you're born into. So when you find yourself born into love, because one thing I never lacked was love. one thing that was always there was I've always been so loved. I've lived, even when I moved to the UK, I lived with another one of my aunts who also just loved me. I've always been loved, because you hear stories, right, of people who lived with one auntie, or people were maltreated or whatever. So I am super grateful to God for that. And I'm glad that God chose a very dope family for me. My mom's side of the family, they're very tight knit. Like sometimes I joke, I'm like, they're like the mafia. We can fight amongst ourselves, but don't bring trouble to the group. So we it wasn't a luxurious life, but it was a good life. I remember I was fetching water, like, when we're young, we used to go to the end of the road to fetch water. It never felt like, we were very happy doing it. I think, I'm not sure how they sold it to us. But, we were very happy doing it. And so I was surrounded by love, but I think one of the best gifts my family gave me really was a solid foundation in the awareness of God. My grandma was an incredibly spiritual woman, and stories of her faith till today still make us marvel. I wish she was alive now that I understand things, so I could really, really hear some of the dynamics behind some of the things that she believed God for. But she would always talk about her Christ Jesus. That's what she was calling, Christ Jesus. And my Christ Jesus will keep you, whether you wanted to hear about it or not, whether you cared. And for the most part, I promise you, we didn't really care. It was a solid foundation I never knew I needed, but God knew I needed it. He always knows what we need. And his providence is profound. He's the God who provides both tangible and intangible things, and he can be trusted. Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. Say, Jireh, Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. You are Jireh, you are enough. You're always enough, ever enough, more than enough. You're more than enough, always enough, more than enough, ever enough, forever enough, always enough. More than enough, one more time, forever enough, always enough, more than enough. I'm already loved, I'm already chosen. I know who I am, I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved more than I can imagine, and that is enough. I'm already loved, I'm already loved, I'm already chosen. I know who I am, I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved more than I could imagine, and that is enough. So we say, Jireh, Jireh, you are enough. We say, Jireh, Jireh, you are enough. much more will He clothe you? If He watches over every sparrow, how much more does He love you? How much more does He love? If He dresses the lilies in beauty and splendor, how much more will He clothe you? How much more will He clothe you? And if He watches over every sparrow, how much more does He love you? How much, one more time, if He watches over every sparrow, how much more will He love you? How much more does He drive? You are enough. You are enough. I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. So I spent my toddler years in London, my primary school years in Port Harcourt, and then for my secondary school years, I ended up in Lagos, Queen's College. Now, most people don't know that I never wanted to go to QC. I had no interest. Like, QC wasn't even on my radar, you know. So my sister, Sophie, she's a year older than me. We kind of grew up almost like twins, but she was always a year older than me, so she was a year ahead of me in school and everything. We finished primary school, and she went off to secondary school in Lagos, but she went to Nigerian Navy Secondary School. This chick came back from school, you know, regaling me with all these stories of she joined the cadets, you know, left, right, start, right, there. She was really tensioning me, you know, so I made up my mind I was going to Nigerian Navy because I was going to, you know, I was going to join cadets, I was going to do all those things. And I did, you know, took the entrance exams. I ended up in Nigerian Navy Secondary School. I joined the cadets, you know. I mean, my husband will find this hard to believe. Like, we used to go jogging on Saturday morning. We'll be singing on the road in Navy camp, you know, Ocho, and I loved it. Half term, my first, you know, half term, my mom comes to pick me up and she's like, oh, go get all your stuff. I'm like, why? Say, oh, you got accepted in QC. QC results are out and you're going to QC. I'm like, what's my business with Queen's College? I don't understand. But that was it, you know. She actually got the head of the school, Nigerian Navy, to talk to me because he was like, I promise you, your mom is making a good choice. And, you know, Queen's College is a good school to go to. So when the head of the school is telling you, you know, to go, I was like, oh, well, you know, I didn't have a choice. So I went. I remember I got to QC. As we're driving in the gate, some girls were playing, like, is it handball or something on the assembly ground? I said, what is all this? No graffiti on the wall. I said, well, is this a school? You know, I was very, it wasn't my dream for myself, but those are some of the best years of my life, QC. Yeah, some people don't care much for their secondary school years. I loved it. I loved QC. I had an amazing time there. You know, like the bonds of sisterhood, the network that you come out with from QC is just unmatched. I love, where my QC girls at? Yeah, pass on the touch, all the good things. And to think that I never wanted to go there. But, you know, like in God's own way, kind of like worked through my mom to get me there. And I think He's always working behind the scenes. He's always working behind the scenes. He works through different people. Sometimes He works through our parents. And even when you have no parents, He is able to parent you Himself. And I've come to realize that He's an excellent father. He's a good, good father. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. I'm a good, good father. He said, who you are. So you probably still hear me scattering some things, but it's my birthday. Everybody has to manage my voice. But yeah, so QC was one of the best gifts my mom gave me. I joke that maybe one of the best test awards she gave me was my British passport. I love Nigeria. It will be great to get one day. But for now, I enjoy my passport. So QC was great. Some of the best people I know in my life to date were people I met in QC. Great friends, exceptional human beings, like my besto here, Lakwe. She always says it, so let me just tell the story. She chose me. Let me tell you, this girl, she went on like summer holiday. She bought like friendship bands. She even bought us matching school bags. Girl rocked up to school. She's like, "You're my best friend." And she came bearing gifts. I mean, what was I going to say? The girl had gifts. I'm like, I didn't know we were choosing friends, but this is, if you're going to, if you're going to select me like this, it turned out to be an amazing. She's always been prophetic, this child. She's always been prophetic. So even some of the things she says in jest, even some of the annoying ones that she says in jest, they come to pass and it's annoying sometimes. But I respect the prophetic gift on her life. She's truly prophetic. So QC was one of the, best gifts that I feel like my mom gave me. But QC was also where I stopped going to church. Because I didn't have any issue with God or anything, but, it wasn't compulsory. Like at home, every Sunday, you woke up, you got dressed, you went to church. But I got to QC and I had the choice to lie in on a Sunday. I was like, I'm lying in. So that was it. So that was where I stopped going to church. And looking back now, I realized that God was always my grandma's God. But up until that point, he had never really been mine. You know what I mean? Like, so I'd been exposed to him, but he wasn't my God. I hadn't built my own relationship with him. So it was a very easy choice for me to make. And I was enjoying life. Youthful living. I enjoyed it. I would bail out of secondary boarding house. I had some enablers, some people whose homes were also enabling. Nigeria, you have a big house, cook, driver, the father and mother are never there. So we will literally go to, like our friends' houses and spend the weekend, go party and have fun. And so I carried on, that whole kind of strain. I left Nigeria, came to the UK for my A-levels, and I loved a good party. Like, I was a party girl. But the whole time, though, interestingly, I didn't have an issue with God, like I said. I always had my Bible under my pillow. Like, throughout uni, if you want to know where my Bible was, it's under my pillow. I don't remember reading it, but at least that's where it lived. You know what I mean? So I spent, A-level years just having fun, uni years, traveling around the country. We'll drive to Coventry for a party, we'll drive to Kent, we'll go and meet Onyinka, we're just doing things, And I didn't really give much thought to faith or God. I got invited to church a few times by a few friends. But I used to get invited to places because I was one of the first to sort out my driver's license and get myself a car. Yes. So my friends in Birmingham that used to invite me to church so I would pick them. So again, came back to London. I started working in investment banking. That was the in thing then, They said that's where the money was. We followed the money. So I was in investment banking, and every weekend, guaranteed, Friday, Saturday, I knew where I needed to be. Like, I didn't even used to check with my friends, are you coming out? Like, I knew when I get there, somebody will be there, So it's either I'm going with somebody or when I get there, I'll jam. We knew ourselves. We're out every weekend. My shopping used to be centered around what I'll wear, Like when I go to America, I'll charter $5 tops because I know every Friday, every Saturday, I'm out, So I was doing that, and then I remember someone, when I left Nigeria, funny enough, my pastor in my church in Lagos had told me about Jesus House. Funny enough, he's a VP, Simbajo, he was my pastor in Nigeria, so he was like, oh, there's not a lot of living churches in the UK, but there's a church called Jesus House, Pastor Aga, So that was a church I was actually referred to leaving home. And then when I moved back to London after uni, I just think it was Cynthia. She's not here yet, is she? I think it was Cynthia that was like, she's going to church. Let's go to church. It was just a fun thing to do. And again, I was driving, so I'll pick her, go that way. And so that was how I started kind of going back to church. So every weekend I would go out, and we were hardcore guys. Like we'll do the lounges, then we'll do the club. Club will close, we won't go home. We'll either go for after party in someone's house, or we'll go to the Den. Yeah, the Den was on Kilburn, the Nigerian restaurant. It was open in the early hours of the morning. We'll play music there. We'll still go there. Then by the time I'm driving home, it's actually daybreak, right? When I'm driving home, I'll get back home. I'll maybe rest a bit. I'll change. I'll go to Jesus' house. Yeah. Then in the foyer, I'll greet everybody that I saw last night. Well, all of us, hey, it was, when I think about it, I'm like, what were we doing, guys? But that's what it was. That's what it was. The people who used to organize the club nights, the owners of the, I won't call the names of their brands, they were in church with us too on Sunday. So it was the normal thing to do. And yeah, but the day would come where I would encounter God in church, in Jesus' house. At one of those events at Jesus' house that I just casually attended. It was very casual. I had just gotten back from one of my trips with them, Lackway, I think Miami, or I'd been somewhere with them. And something was happening in church, and Larry invited me. She's like, I'm going to church for this thing. My body was still sweeting me from my trip. I wanted to tell somebody about the trip. So let's go. I'll see Larry and and all of that. So, but I remember sitting next to her because when I had the encounter, I was shivering so much, and she covered me. And that encounter changed. It changed the trajectory of my life, my walk with God. I mean, sometimes I wish I'd gotten more serious with God earlier, because I see people who grew up knowing God. Some of them, and I'm like, had it been, But I'm just glad. I'm glad that He had room for me when I finally was ready, because He's a God who doesn't force Himself on you. But it's your loss if you don't align with Him, because no matter how good your plans feel for yourself, His plans are so much better than the plans we think we have for ourselves. So I'm just glad He had room for me. I'm just glad He had room for me, and that's why I love this song that I picked next. Because you
waited.
House for all the nations. Pastor Aguirre. If my family raised me physically, Jesus House raised me spiritually. Can't tell my story without mentioning Jesus House. I wrote a book actually about my love story with Jesus House. I called it Church and I. A whole manuscript. I'll also publish it one day. Because I was tripped. Jesus House brought me through a lot of things and opened my eyes to a lot of things. And it's funny because I always joke that after I gave my life to Christ, the whole thing fell apart. Like I went into an interesting season. It was almost like now God had my attention. It was like, okay, let's figure out, well, what are we doing? I lost my job. Relationship I was in was just woggle. It ended. I nearly lost my home. It was like all hell literally broke loose. But it was such an enriching season for me. In that season, I really got to know God. I had time. I read the Bible from cover to cover, as a fun exercise. Me and my friends, we were just hype on all things God. It was an enriching season. I learned to walk on water. My life, I understood miracles because my life was miracle after miracle. It was like these trust exercises. It was like God was trying to show me what was possible with Him and how He can bring water from a rock. It's just a hard place. It's nothing, and then whoosh, water. He exposed me to the gift of men, what it's like to have people come around you and bear you up. And it was an enriching season for me. It built my confidence in God. It built my faith. My faith got so ridiculous. Guys, I believe that God can do anything. And I get really wild in my requests, I can be quite wild. I just decide something, it must happen, my only caveat is God interested in it? Because, But that was all from that season. So that season both broke me and it built me. And it wasn't an easy season to go through, but it came to pass. One day I wasn't in that season anymore. I wish I could sit down and read the Bible from cover to cover now. I wish. I can aspire. But sometimes He allows us to be broken so He can build us anew into vessels that are fit for purpose. And the good thing about it is while He does that, He stays with us. And I'm so glad He stayed with me. So I sing. Never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see that you were there for me. So I can say I never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I could have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me. And I can say I'm stronger, I'm wise. out of that season a different person, for sure. I was more fearless, very self-aware, less interested in pandering to, society's ideals, what people think you should do, you shouldn't do. I lost a lot of the how do I put it? All of that stuff just became, So yeah, and I emerged a woman under authority. One thing I came out of that season was God was really my Lord, and so I'm like, you don't have to worry about me. You do not have to worry about me. You don't have to worry about me in business, in friendships, in marriage, because I don't always get it right, but I can assure you that my priority is to remain someone who has clean hands. Because that access is so important to me. It's so important to me. So I try, even if I won't do right by you for your sake, I'll do it for him, because in fact, I do it for me, because I need that access. I need him. I've learned that the things that he asks of us are for our own good. I've learned that when he says forgive, yes, you do it because you love him, but you actually do it because of what it does for you. And so, I trust him. I believe the things he says. If he says it, that's enough for me. I just need to know he was the one that said it, for sure. So if you're moving mad, you're acting funny towards me, and I'm not matching your energy, it's not because I know how to move funny. Oh, yeah. I can be a bit raggos too. But, if you notice that, maybe you're acting funny and I'm ignoring you, so it's because I have something else, my eyes on something else that's important to me. And I've learned to process my emotions in his presence. It's like, this thing pained me, it really pained me, but I need to sit with him and talk about how it pained me, and sometimes if I sit with him and it's still paining me and I feel like I need to tell the person, I'm gonna call you. And some of you in this room have had that call before, like, I'm not happy with you right now. And it doesn't always come out right, but thankfully it helps to keep the heart clean, the pure heart, clean hands, because I don't want to bear anything in my heart as people. So I'm a woman under authority. I can't lose that access, so I work hard to keep it. And I've realized that my wisdom is too limited to navigate this life without him. What do I know? I don't have the ability, I don't have the resources to navigate life without him. For instance, I didn't have the good sense to marry this man. You guys, if you know what's the first thing I disqualified this guy on. So, this London boy, he can't even speak pidgin. And so I'll speak pidgin, I'll interpret it. So the lists of things that we have, it's kind of like, he needs to this, he needs to that, the wisdom is so limited, so I'm glad that God took his time, and again, because I was now in that season where if he made it clear to me that it was his will, then that was the end of discussion, and I just wouldn't argue, and he took his time to make it clear to me that it was his will for me, and I knew I could never pick someone better than God could pick for me, and I was so glad. I have so much peace in my marriage, and it's one of the things I'm most grateful for. So not that wise, and I know that I'm not. Is that Eli crying? And I know I'm not that great. I'm not that great. I have been blessed with a depth of love in a lot of my friendships that is beyond normal, and I know that is not. There's some people that attract friends. When you have a lot of money. Everyone wants to be your friend. You have a lot of followers. Everyone wants to be your friend. You're famous. You're doing something great in the world. People have started recognizing you. Everybody wants to be your friend. I don't have any of those things. But yet God has kind of, really blessed me with a lot of people who genuinely love me. They choose to be my friend. And I'm not foolish enough to think that, I'm not confused to think that that's me. I know that is the favor of God. Those are some of the things that come from just, having him have his way in my life. And I know I'm not particularly easy to be friends with. With my my sharp mouth and my strong head and my absolute disdain for conformity. I just say, if you want me to not do something, just tell me everybody's doing it. Not doing nothing. And it makes friendship hard because people want to get excited about certain things, and it's like, I'm not doing job. Everybody's doing it. Everybody has it. Everybody, So I'm grateful for things. I'm grateful for the beautiful things that he's blessed me with that I could never pay for. I don't have the wisdom. I don't have the ability myself to get them for myself. And it keeps showing up. I remember after I got married, everybody knows the story. I was terrified of childbirth. Just the thoughts. The thought of giving birth to a child. I'm like, there's nothing exciting about it for me. But even that, I could take it to him, and I was like, look, you want me to have kids, you're going to have to deal with this thing. And he did. He did, twice. Twice. He made it like a walk in the park for me. And I know that those are the things that, because they're within his will for me, he works them out. And walking with him is an adventure, but being within his will is the safest place to be. So that's where I try to be. But oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. So we call him, we praise him as the
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keep, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keep, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, 'cause even when I don't see it, you're working. And even when I can't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I can't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Yes, even when I can't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. Even when I can see it, you're working. Even when I can feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. So waymaker, say, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keep, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. One more time we say, you're the waymaker, miracle worker, promise keep, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
I've had a very tough time the last 2 years. My mind has been all over the place. And that pandemic, what was that? I've had a tough time. But if I'm honest, it's mainly because I was being a spoiled brat. Let's be real. I hated being pregnant during the pandemic. I hated it. I hated not being able to pop out for a meal. Just let my hair down. I hated having to be careful because it was not just me, it's me and another human being. I hated going to hospital appointments on my own. I hated, never mind the blessing that it was that I was pregnant, spoiled brat. I hated that, and you guys, this is how you know the height of my spoiledness. I hated that I didn't get a warning about the pandemic. I said, why should a pandemic just come? I mean, you didn't need to tell me it's COVID-19, but you know how sometimes you kind of look back and you're like, oh, that was why God told me to move my this, you know? And you just kind of feel like, I felt like an outsider and I hated it. So I was just like, why should pandemic just come? You know, like, you know, spoiled brat. I hated that I had to be on lockdown and I wasn't in my mansion yet. I said, like, God, why would you do that? You know I have to stay indoors for so long. And you didn't first move me to that mansion that I've been dreaming of. Like, you know, so spoiled brat. I was just, you know, like, my mind was like, you know, I was also focused and I hated that I was not a millionaire yet. I said, why don't I have millions? I just want to order this, you know, the thing that I want from, and then fly it in for me, you know, like, you know, spoiled brat. So, yeah, but that's what can happen when you've seen the hand of God in your life, when God has been kind to you, when He's worked miracles, when He's been gracious enough to guide you into some things, you know, like, you can become spoiled. Please don't be like me. I appreciate all of it. Those, you know, I don't go down that road. It's not a fun road. So the last 2 years were pretty tough for me. But He brought us through. You know, no mental breakdown, thankfully. We didn't have to beg, steal, or borrow, thankfully. You know, we're in great health, thankfully. But yeah, even though we're completely focused on the wrong things, but yet His mercy never failed me. Can anybody relate? All my life you have been faithful. I think I was going to sing. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been saved. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Goodness is running after, it's running after me. Say, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. It's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And so that brings us to now, today. My head is correct now. Yeah. I know who I am, I know whose I am. We're back on track. I wasn't going to do anything for my 40th birthday. A lot of you probably know that because people asked me, and I'm not doing anything. You know, like I almost fought with Lakwe. Oh, you know, it's coming. It's 3 months away. Leave me alone, you know, because I think part of it was I was tired of planning stuff. It's been a year of landmark celebrations for my family. everybody's birthday this year was the type you celebrate. You know, Zuri turned 1, Eli turned 5, Oti was 40. It was like every 6 weeks. You know, Zuri's birthday, 6 weeks later. I'm planning Oti's birthday, 6 weeks later. I'm planning Eli's birthday. What are we going to do? What is going in the cake? So I think by the time we got to my birthday, first of all, I was all planned out. So it's like, you know, and then secondly, I'm at the point where I'm so self-aware that I wasn't interested in doing anything just because, you know, it's kind of like, oh, you should take your friends for dinner, but I don't really care to take my friends for dinner. You know, you should, do party. Yeah. You know, like none of it was really exciting to me, and so I just said, okay, well, one thing I know is that I want to be in a different environment in the morning. I wake up on my birthday, so I said to my husband, that's it. You know, I want to go away. I don't want to make toast for Eli in the morning. I don't want to, you know. So you know, he planned every, you know, he paid for the trip. He blew his budget. Yeah. Then the next day, as we booked the trip like this, the next day, I just woke up in the morning. In fact, he walked in from the gym or something, and I had my laptop. I was typing. The idea for this day just came. It was like a download. It was like, you know, talk about the journey so far. God tricked him. Because one of the things I said to God was, why did you tell me? They've been asking me. Now that they've gone and done the other one now. So I said to myself, if it's God's will, you know this type of, if it's God's will, don't worry, He'll provide. Just help me plan. I need music. I need kiriko. And you know, so I was just saying all of that. And the thing is, I just knew I had to do it. You know, it was one of those things. I felt like it was a download. And now I can't think of a better way to celebrate my birthday than to spend time glorifying God in my life while also celebrating my friends. You know, it's perfect. I couldn't have even thought about it. You know, so, and I didn't know how to even start planning something like this. The guys who own this venue, maybe if I inquire again, I can say they're busy. Because I was so last minute and I was still back and forth, and, you know, I sent invitation to you guys. I just paid for this place on Friday morning. It wasn't even booked. Because I just looked at it and I said, let me give them 1 week notice. You know, this last minute thing, you know. And of course, you know, people were a little bit sad. People, friends who thought they might be here, family, that kind of thing. I'm like, don't worry, we'll live stream for you guys. Don't worry, we'll sort it out. But, you know, this is when it came to me, and this is so we're doing it. And so when the difficulties came in terms of, I don't even know who is the caterer. I don't know, like, you know, there were so many questions around it. I kind of went back to a question that has become a defining question in my life. And that question is God interested in this? Is God interested in this? Because I found out that it's kind of like the only question that matters. Because if He's interested in it, He will work it out. Guys, this dress, they delivered it yesterday. Because I ordered some when I was away on my birthday trip. You know, came back, tried them on. Fail. I said, who does same-day delivery? Yesterday, I got this dress. Last night, I said, let me just check Instagram. Enfield makeup artist, hashtag, let me just see somebody. One came up, I said, I called her. Please, can you do one last minute makeup tomorrow? She showed up today. So it's like, you know, if He's interested in it, He will work it out. And it's one of the biggest lessons of my life, and that's why that question has become so important to me. When I am agonizing about something, it boils down to that. And I'll borrow you guys that question. Next time you're agonizing about something, just ask, you know, is God interested in this? Because once you figure out that He is, He'll sort it out. But if He's not interested in it, what do you want it for? You know, like why do I want it if He's not interested in it? I don't want it, you know. So here we are. So what does the future hold? I don't know. But I know who holds the future. And I know I'm hoping for things. I know we're all hoping for things. But yeah, I don't know. But and you guys, I'm about to release you soon. This is the last song.
He's still proving just how great He is. How great. Still
saw William McDowell do this on YouTube. I was like, this is perfect. Just a few things, a few things. If we're talking about the journey so far, what kind of God does these sorts of things? Like I told you guys how I was scared of childbirth and all that kind of stuff, and what God did for me when I gave birth first time was, you've heard about it, but you don't know if it's even possible. I gave birth with no pain. It's not a joke. I was falling asleep between my pushes. That's how relaxed I was. That's how much he answered the fear that I had, the concern that I had. He would change norms. He would break protocol on your behalf where you need him to. He's still moving, guys. He's still moving. How great he is. Still moving. He's still moving. He's still proving. He's still proving just how great he is. How great he is. He's still moving. He's still moving. He's still proving. He's still proving just how great he is. How great he is. Another story I wanted to tell before I finish was, that crazy season I told you about my life, that when everything was rocked. I almost lost my house, I couldn't pay my mortgage. And it's one of my favorite stories from my history with God. I got to the point where they took me to court. They wanted their house back. I wasn't ready to give them. I was ready to give them. They took me to court. And it's funny because when I got my court dates, I forgot that people that go to court need lawyers. I forgot. It was like maybe a couple days to the day. I remember I said, no, they sent me a letter saying, send me the name of your representation. I said, oh my goodness, I need a lawyer. So I told Pastor Agu. We didn't really have a relationship, but I just thought, let me tell this man. I told him, he was looking at me like, he's a lawyer, but he's like, you are going to court on you don't have, he just picked up his phone. He called a lawyer in church. He's like, please, this little girl in the church. And so she got me some representation, some junior person in her team or whatever. That's ended up going to court with me. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but God worked some things out. Just the day before the court date, some things changed. That meant that, I got to court, and the lady they sent to represent me was late, but I got in there. And the judge was the one that argued my case. So, the lady they sent to represent me didn't say anything. The judge was the one that was like, and I was in court like this, smiling. It was so weird because I'm like, why are you smiling? They're trying to take your house. But it's, I guess, a holy energy of some sort. And the judge was like, no, but you should think about this. This happened yesterday. She might be able to do it. And that's how I didn't lose my house. What kind of God does that? What kind of God does that? Great he is, he's still moving. He's still moving. He's still proving. He's still proving just how great he is. How great he is. He's still moving. He's still moving. He's still proving. He's still proving just how great he is. How great he is. Another thing that he did that I will never forget was, when we got all excited about God in that season where we're getting to know God, just because I'm a natural sharer, I share, I find a new preacher, I'm sharing, I find a new, I'm sharing, I find a new book, I'm sharing, new type of Bible, I'm sharing, all my friends must have the Bible, just because I'm that type of person, I was very used to sharing. And then God did something interesting, because I was looking for work, and I couldn't find work. And one day I felt like God said to me, why are you looking for work? I'm like, because I have a mortgage to pay, I have things to do. But I got up from shouting at God, because I actually got annoyed with him, like, why will you ask me why I'm looking for a job? Can you not see what's going on? I remember I got up from that session. In fact, that session ended with me apologizing to him because of how much I just vexed. Like, what do you mean? And I went to my desktop at the time, and back then Gmail chat was still a thing. And a friend of mine had sent a message, oh, send me your account details. I'm like, okay. She said, oh, God just told me to start paying part of my tithe to you. I said, what now? So yeah, she said, I asked him that he's not going to be stealing from the church, or that he said, it's my money, I can tell you what to do with it. So when you represent God, he will never, he will not let you go without. You know, and it wasn't until very recently that I learned to teach, I heard a teaching that helped me understand it, where the tithe goes to a place, a person that God is using as a portal in your life. Yeah. 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 Oh, he's good. Oh, just in case there's anything going on in your life. I'm just telling you these stories because I want to build your faith. Yeah? I want to build your faith. Still moving.
He's still proving just how great he is. How great he is. He's still moving. He's still moving. He's still proving. Still proving just how great he is. How great he is.
I think I marvel at the fact that he can use someone like me. I know myself. I know myself. So the fact that he can allow someone like me to represent me, it always shocks me. I remember I went to my friend's wedding some years ago, and someone came to me like, "Oh, your friend said you're going to do the opening prayer." I said, "Him? Yeah, sure." A wedding that had adults, me. I said, "God, you are very interesting." I went to a friend's baby naming ceremony, and I remember she's like, "Oh, they're like, oh, who's gonna pray?" She's like, "Oh, IB's gonna pray for my daughter." I said, Even the pastor that was in attendance was like, "Your, is it?" So yeah. I said, "Wow, what kind of God allows me to represent Him? What kind of God? Like, I know myself, right? You know, even recently, like I want to say 2 months ago, one of my friends turning 40, she sent me a message. She's like, I want you to pray with me crossing over into my birthday. I said, me? And she called me crossing over into her birthday. And there were a lot of people in her house. A lot of her friends had shown up to usher her into her birthday. They were having a lot of fun. And this girl put me on speakerphone. IB is going to pray now. I said, really? Me? So, yeah, he's amazing. I should really do an altar call at this point, right? Like, if you want to give your life to my God, give me a holler. But let's just pray. Let's just pray. May you know Him. May you trust Him. May you enjoy Him and bring glory to His name through your life. And I pray that whatever it is that you're facing, you realize that it's not too hard, it's not too big, it's not beyond Him. So rest in Him. Rest in Him. How great He is. And that's it. Still moving.
Still moving.
Sermon is over.
Still proving. Still proving just how great He is. How great He is. He's still moving. He's still moving. Still proving. Still proving just how great He is. How great He is. He's still proving just how great He is. How great He is. He's still moving. He's still proving just how great He is. How great He is.
Wow. Thank you, Pastor Ivy. It's hard to know where to kind of pick up from there, but there's something I always say, that it is, you're as blessed as the number of times you can say thank you and be thanked. And I think the first thing that should be said is thank you to all of you for coming to share this moment this afternoon
Last
with
minute.
us.
Last
so
minute.
last minute indeed. So thank you for coming out. That very much does mean a lot. One thing Ivy and I share in common, I guess, is that we don't like stress so much. I think for those of you who know me, you know for sure that I don't like stress. With Ivy,
I choose my stress.
The distinction is that maybe she likes being mischievous, she likes wahala, but there's a difference between wahala and stress. So that's her, but me, I just like chill. But I say that to say that because of how short notice it was, the idea to put this event on, I think it has brought a lot of stress, especially as it's grown with caterer, the venue, I want to live stream it and everything is like, we're adding another thing? With what? Like, it's kind of reached the point where I've said, let me just get through Sunday so I can get my wife back, because right now I don't know who I'm living with. But one thing that we had consistently said is that the stress was worth it because this is really what it was all about for her. She tries to say that she doesn't like things which are trends, but that's not entirely true either. Because she said, it's true, I want to booga, I want it. So it's the raining song.
My husband didn't know booga. I said,
so,
booga? He said, what's that? I said, don't sleep, collect your money. He said, what's that? I said,
it was the start of the song. But we said that, as I said, it was worth the stress because she wanted, as you know, with everything that Ibiene does, it has to be something where she can put God's name in it. And so she was very adamant that it's going to be worth it because of this moment. And I hope you feel that way. In fact, there was a psalm, which I just want to read real quick, which I think kind of sums up my wife very well. So Psalm 71, verses 15 to 18. And it says, my mouth will tell of your righteous deeds, of your saving acts all day long, though I know not how to relate them all. I will come and proclaim your mighty acts, sovereign Lord. I will proclaim your righteous deeds, yours alone. Since my youth, God, you have taught me, and to this day I declare your marvelous deeds. Even when I am old and gray, do not forsake me, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your mighty acts to all who are to come. And so, despite, as I said, the added expense, we had already blown the budget on the trip, but we blew a second budget. Clearly you don't want that mentioned just yet, you're ready to postpone that.
he will do it.
But it was important that we were able to share this time with you just to lift up the name of God and proclaim our Lord and Savior. And as much as we kind of discussed, should there be an altar call on all of this? And she was like, I don't want anything to be awkward. And I said, that's fine, but I always say that if there's anything that you have found attractive about this event thus far, about Ibiene, about her life journey so far, all you need to know is that the center of that is the Spirit of God in her. So if that is of interest to you, then I would say, come, holler at her, holler at myself afterwards, and then we can get into the altar call stuff. But so I said, it would only be fitting that we at least give you that opportunity out there, because I don't want to take for granted that everybody already has a relationship with Jesus Christ. But once again, thank you so much for coming. And if you don't mind, what I would like is if we could just spend 30 seconds or so praying for our birthday girl here. It's been, I'm so proud of everything that she has achieved thus far, but I also know deep down so many of the desires that she still has and how many wonderful and great things are still to come. And so I think I would be appreciative if we could all just kind of pray into that, into the dreams, the hopes, the desires, just for a few moments. So if you wouldn't mind, just if you're the praying time, please just stretch out your hands to my wife here, and for the next few moments, we're just going to pray for Ivy. In Jesus' name. Heavenly Father, we thank thank you for all the glory that has been shown in our life thus far, for all that you have done, the wonderful testimonies, the stories that we can use for encouragement today. Lord, we continue to remain expectant for what you are going to do and what you are doing in our midst right now. Lord, we pray that we will have eyes which do not miss it, ears that will be ready to hear and be attuned to your very call. So the Father, we will never find ourselves out of step with you. Heavenly Father, I pray for each of your children here this afternoon. Lord, I declare them blessed. Lord, I thank you for the sacrifice that they have made to share this time with us even. And Lord, even for that, I pray that you will do and replenish mightily unto them, Lord God. Father, as we now ready ourselves to eat, to celebrate, to gist, to dance, Father God, we do it all unto you. Father God, we pray that everything we do shall be a worthy act of praise for who you are, Lord God, in our lives. Lord, we want it to be that whenever you look down on us, you can say, yes, this is my son, this is my daughter, in whom I am well pleased. And so we are grateful for the first 40 years. And Lord God, we're looking forward to the next 40 and the 40 after that, Lord, whatever it is that you have in store for your daughter, whatever it is you have in store for each and every one of us, Lord, our prayer is that it will not be missed. The Lord, the enemy shall not have any sway in truncating the promises and purposes that you have for our life. But rather, Father God, through everything that we do, your name is going to be raised. Your glory shall be had in ways that we can imagine and not imagine. Lord, the victory is already ours. Now it is just for us to walk in it. And so thank you that you've given us the power. Thank you that you have given us everything, every equipment that is needed to be here, to be present, to be impactful here on this earth. And we're going to do it. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Woo-woo.
Now, guys, it's time to eat some food. And we'll go. Look. Hey, look. You know yourselves. All
Let's
right.
go.
Oh, yes. Okay, so we're going to quickly do the cake cutting first. So, laps, I'm sure. Fantastic. So, birthday girl, do you want to go stand by your cake?